Hi, I'm Brandon Cross with Node of Texas, and I've got your tech briefing for October 27th, 2010. In the news, Limewire gets served, Microsoft is said to be a dying consumer brand, and Firesheep wreaks bad havoc. Let's talk about Limewire first. This is interesting. So Limewire gets a notice from a court that says you need to cease downloads of your software immediately. All right? Good. I'm happy. I am ecstatic. LimeWire is bad stuff. It's always been bad stuff. One, it lets people go and download music and movies that they never bought, that they never paid for illegally. All right? That's bad. Well, a lot of people, though, they don't care. They're just like, oh, yeah, it's there. I'll go and download it. Well, it's here. You know, if the door's unlocked, then why don't you walk right into the house and take everything, you know? Because the door's unlocked. That's the attitude that everybody has that uses LimeWire. The door's not locked, so it must be okay to walk in and steal it all. All right? Unacceptable. It's good that LimeWire is getting shut down. This is a company that may be able to change their business model into something legitimate, but the fact remains that its software is used 99.99% of the time for illegitimate purposes that involve breaking the law. All right? Oh, in addition to that, the people who do use LimeWire expose themselves to the law by getting tracked. If people who download all these movies and music and programs and things like that, I don't know why, but apparently they think that nobody's watching. The truth is, they're getting tracked. And the facts are, they get served letters. And they have to show up in court, and a lot of times pretty much lose. Oh, and to make matters worse, so many times, parents who aren't watching what their teenagers are doing end up getting served the letters because their teenagers are downloading music and movies from the internet illegally, and the parents are on the line. So if your kids are using your internet connection to do something illegal, it doesn't matter if you don't know it, you're on the line. So pay attention. Now, on to Microsoft, a irrelevant consumer brand. This is a load of hooey. Microsoft is not an irrelevant consumer brand. It may be the most relevant consumer brand. The things Microsoft are doing are going to change the way people interact with their homes, with their technology in their living rooms and all around them. Microsoft has been working very hard to break into your living room for a very long time. The Xbox 360 is a very small step in that direction. Windows Home Server is another very small step in that direction that most people don't even have. The fact that Media Center is integrated into every single Windows 7 Home Edition pretty much is another example of how Microsoft is getting into your living rooms and you don't even know it. Very, very, very soon, the cable box is going to probably be gone. The satellite TV box is probably going bye-bye. Apple knows this. Matter of fact, that's why Apple just recently changed the whole entire pricing model and delivery methods for the Apple TV product. Now it's a complete 100% streaming product. Apple knows that your television experience is going online. Netflix accounts for like 75% or something like that of internet bandwidth at peak usage hours. That's because everybody's streaming everything now. Nobody wants to wait for 6 o'clock for their show to come on or for 9 o'clock for their show. No, nobody. Everybody wants it streamed right to them, right then, in high def. That's the way to do it. Microsoft is there. Apple is there. They're both competing for that territory. They both have great products that a lot of different people are going to buy, and Microsoft is not going to be irrelevant because Apple's going to just take over all the consumer stuff. It's not going to happen. Not with all the technology and research and development that Microsoft's putting into it. They're going to compete. All right, let's face it. So let's talk for a second about Firesheep. This is bad stuff. Probably one of the worst things that I've seen come onto the internet since maybe the Cult of the Dead Cow. This is bad. Firesheep is going to really change the way people go about using the internet in public places. Finally, there's going to be something that curbs public internet hotspot usage. And also, this is a good thing to threaten people at their jobs to prevent them from getting into their own personal Facebook pages and things like that at work. Firesheep is bad across the board. I do not like it. It scares me to death. I think that this is going to change how websites have to be engineered and designed. There's a whole new set of security parameters that are going to have to be put in place because of this. Let me tell you about Firesheep real quickly, briefly, and how you can avoid getting caught by this horrible, terrible thing. Anybody can download Firesheep. They put it on their computer. They sit on the network. It sniffs the network. Now, if you're on that local network, let's say it's a Wi-Fi hotspot at an airport or a coffee shop. Let's say it's your local network at your work, and another employee is running this thing. That's the scariest of all scenarios I can think of. Okay? So you've got an employee running Firesheep, or somebody else sitting at a coffee shop or airport, wherever. Here comes somebody else on the network. They log on into their Facebook page or, whatever page they're going into, as long as it's not HTTPS secured. So it can't be a secure site. It has to be a standard normal login site. Typically the HTTPS stuff is usually used when there's credit cards involved and banks involved and stuff like that. That's been the tradition, but more HTTPS has been flowing into all the other websites. But there's a cost and complexity to doing that, so these websites avoid doing that in masses. Some, the big players do it, but the masses of websites don't. The problem is that if you go to a website that's not HTTPS secured now, and you're browsing this website from any network that other people might be on, anybody that's on that network running Firesheep can hijack your session, take over what you were browsing, and now they can browse your account with whatever website you were logged into. That is extremely scary, people. That is extremely, extremely scary. The only way to avoid it, don't browse your websites in public. Some people talk about using VPNs to get to not cause that problem. Frankly, that's a solution. It's more of a workaround. It may be the only thing you could do to help protect yourself, but it's a complex and costly way to go about doing that. Unfortunately, the best method right now might just be to avoid browsing some of these sites that are your personal sites, unless it's behind your own personal internet connection. If I'm at my house, I don't have to worry about somebody hijacking my session, but if I'm at an airport, I sure do. So, this is some scary new stuff that people need to be aware of. Hopefully, this tech briefing has been informative and interesting, and I'd like to hear everybody's opinions about everything. So go for it, and I look forward to chatting with you again.